Right. So now our focus is on summing up all these values and matching with the total 124, which is this step, right? Okay, so let's see how to do that. Right. So first we will concentrate on summing up all these values from 30 to 1, okay, and here whatever present here. So we should concentrate in summing up these values first. So these values comes from this for loop, right? We should sum here itself. How do you do that? So it's very simple again. First you need to create one variable called integer sum and assign value 0 for it. Okay, so then come inside. Let's remove the system.out.println now. We are no more interested in printing in the output. We have to just see the sum. Okay, so once get text, we will throw that into a variable called string value. Okay, so when you run for first time, 51 will be stored in this value, right? And in the next loop 19 will be stored. So once 51 is stored in this value, this is a string format. Okay, to sum this I need to convert this into integer before I perform any mathematical operations. I cannot directly perform on a string. So to convert this string to integer, so 51 is a string now. To convert that into integer in Java, there is a simple function called integer dot parse int. Okay, so this step is nothing but whatever the string you pass inside this box, automatically it converts into string. And now you can say int equals to value integer. Okay, in the first step you got that as a raw string, and now you converted as an integer which is ready for sum. So when it loops for the first time, value integer have 51. Okay, so I'll write the step sum equals to sum plus value integer. Let me explain you this. Okay, so here first loop 51 will be stored here, and I am writing this step. What is sum value? 0. 0 plus 51 is nothing but 51. So 51 is stored in some variable for the first loop. Okay, loop started again. Next time 19 got printed here. We are converting 19 to integer, and value integer is now 19. And next step, value integer plus sum. So sum is 51, right, from our previous iteration. So we are adding 19 to that 51. 19 plus 51. Okay, what is that? It is 70. So that means sum of these two calculated and now stored in some variable. For the third loop, 32 comes into picture. 32 prints here. So now this 32 is here. 32 plus sum. What is sum? Sum is 70 in second iteration. So now we are adding to the 70 plus 32, which is nothing but 1 or 2, isn't it? And this way, for every iteration, it adds to the sum of previous values. Okay, by writing this simple step, isn't it? Now again, and loop repeats. 1 is a value prints here. 1 plus what is some value previously? 1 or 2. It becomes 1 or 3. So in that way, it counts till 4. Okay, extras will not part of this, right? And once the loop is completed, you will have the sum till this value. Okay, so most probably your output should be 121, and thereafter we will add that whole 121 sum with extras. Okay, because total 121 plus 4, sorry, it's 120 plus adding 4 extras will gives you 124, right? So 120 should be our output once the sum variable comes out of this loop. Okay, so I'll write it outside. Once the loop is completed, so that means when I print this sum in my output, I have to see 120. Okay, so let me run this test and see if it is printing 120 or not. Run as Java application. And you learn one more concept in this lecture, like how to convert string to integer and how do you sum up the values in a table. Okay, so yep, let's go back to our Eclipse and you see that 120 is printed in the output. So all those values are not printing now because we just removed that system.println and we are directly printing only the sum. Okay, and now we need to add this extras as well and then compare is 124 equals to 124. Okay, so this gives extra, right? So let me remove the system.println because we no more required now. Yeah, so this is nothing but string extras. So this string I want to convert into integer dot parse int, and I'll pass this extras so that now the integer value of this extras value is nothing but 4, and I'll simply sum. This is 120, right? So sum plus extras value, that's it. I'll place this into integer total sum value equals to 120 plus 4 is summed up here. Alright, now I am just printing out this total value sum and it should be 124. So this is what we summed up all this, right? So run the test and you see that you should see 124. Okay, 1 second, I want to comment all this. I just want to need these two values itself just to avoid confusion. Alright, so hopefully we should see two 124s in our console now. That means it's match. Okay, so very soon you will be seeing your output. Yep, you see that 124 and 124. So that's how we achieved our goal. Okay, so if you carefully observe, we have done lot of things in this exercise. First, we understood how to take a web element as a subsection and placing instead of driver. Okay, so only to point out the elements only in that particular web element section. Instead of driver, we are using table.findElements. This is one concept. So we also seen how to traverse from parent to child, concept number 2, and how to specifically move to the child index, concept number 3, and how to iterate through all the elements with a common CSS, 4, and how to traverse from sibling to sibling, 5, how to convert from string to integer, 6, and how do you sum up logic behind that, 7, and how to get a value using the text XPath, 8. So totally 8 concepts we have learned from this rich example of automating the tables. Okay, so mostly you would be getting interview question like this. So generally people will say, I know the XPath of one column in a row. So how do you get me the another column in the same row with the help of this first XPath? Okay, they will say that I do not know any XPath or ID for this element, but I want this. The only information I have is one more column. Okay, using this, how would I get that? You might be getting question like this. So in that case, you should simply say that we will use sibling XPath concept and traverse from this to this. Okay, and one last thing remain to us is to compare this both integers and say are they matching or not. So for that, the simple step is, let's remove this actual total what we took and let me put that into variable actual total. So let me convert this actual total by placing this variable here. Actual total value. Okay, so if actual total value equals to total sum value, you can simply say count matches. So for now I am just putting if condition, and when we learn about frameworks we will generally put assertions to compare if are they both matching or not. Count matches. Okay, else count fail. Okay, so let me run this test and conclude our exercise. So you should simply get count matches in your output, concept number 9. So we have learned 9 concepts from this exercise and it was good experience. So if you are a little confused about it, please go back and watch the lecture again and note down the points what I am talking about. So that will be helpful for you for your future reference as well. Okay, so yep, you see that count matches. Alright, so that's pretty much about handling tables in Selenium. Thank you.